Yo, 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 what is up? What is up? I hope everyone's having a good night tonight. The Phillies are blowing it, but we have, we're talking about the Eagles tonight. That's the main objective tonight. Got Joe Castro on. I couldn't help myself but to get him on for another week, and I thought I was going to get yelled at maybe asking too much of his services, but, we're fine. We're good.
Never too much.
What's going on, Joe?
Hey, I'm chilling, brother. I think I got more faith in your Phillies than you do right now. They got two men on base. They might pull this out, but no, I'm glad that you called me, man. I'm happy to talk Eagles with you. Always happy to talk Eagles. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Let's get it. We got some good things to talk about, man. The birds are making us happy.
Making us real happy. What's going on, chat? We got 60 in the chat right now. I got Logan Motorsports. What's going on? We got House Cat Jacob. We got Shady Munchie. We got Little G Griffith. We got Spider. MJ, what's going on, guys? So, yeah, the first thing of business, we'll get it out of the way first, is Kevin Byard. Not even a day after the game. Literally a day after the game, and the Eagles make a trade. What do you think?
Oh, I'm ecstatic. I think. Look, is Kevin Byard the same guy that is a two-time Pro Bowler, two-time All-Pro? Led the league in interceptions. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be the same exact guy. Obviously getting up there in age, but he's a veteran. He's a guy that's going to play at a high level. Putting him across from Reed Blankenship, I think, is going to be very fun to watch. It's going to be interesting now to kind of see what this means for other players, right? Like, what are they going to do at the slot position? What are they going to do? Do they want to bring out a third safety and utilize Sidney Brown? What does this mean for everybody else? I think that's the question now that is kind of burning in my mind. Also, is this the last move? Are they going to do more? There could definitely be more moves for the Eagles, but we all knew safety was a big position to fill, and to fill it with a guy from Philly, obviously has ties to Philly from Philadelphia, and that is a very, very good player. He's 2 years removed from being the leader in interceptions in the NFL. So I'm excited. I think that what we got him for makes me even more excited. We basically got him for like a Wawa sandwich, and we didn't even give him a drink. We just gave him the sandwich. It was crazy. I did not expect it to be that low of an offer. Obviously, they got Terrell Edmonds back, which to me is maybe like a negative asset, but it is what it is. They wanted him. They got him. I'm ecstatic. I knew something was going to happen, and I knew Kevin Byard was part of the talks, but didn't think that it would really happen. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think that we would really put that type of, assets into an older guy, but we did. Hopefully he comes out here and balls out for us. I hope he gets a Super Bowl for his hometown. That would be a crazy feeling.
Yeah, the Titans fans are not happy. You take away one player, and now you're taking away another player, and a really important piece to their defense. This is a team that's waiting to implode right now. It's only a matter of time till Derrick Henry gets traded. It's only a matter of time till they get rid of a lot of assets. They have no quarterbacks. They don't have an offensive line. Their offense can't sustain drives. Hence why you're not getting much out of Kevin Byard on the defense over there. It's just not enough. So kind of feels like, it's one of those, like they lost their Brian Dawkins, going to Denver. It was kind of remind me of that a little bit. But they're definitely not happy. It was better for us, though. 5th and 6th round picks it's peanuts at this point. And they're not even our picks. They're not even our picks at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guy.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
It's crazy to think that, he's played, like you said, he's an integral part of what they do. He's played over 97% of their snaps every single year, this being the lowest at 97%. So they're not just giving up some guy. Like, this isn't just some guy that was on the roster that, hey, let's get value out of him while we can. I believe he still has one more year on his contract. If I'm a Titans fan, I would be pissed off. And I said it on Twitter, and honestly, I truly believe it. I feel like Howie Roseman calls these guys either from a different cell phone or a blocked number or something. I don't know why you still answer these calls. Maybe this was the best offer they got, but if I'm them, I'm maybe taking a little less just to not deal with the Eagles again, because that has to have some weight in it. Like, if the Eagles got fleeced by a certain team and then we just continuously traded with them, I would be a little pissed. So, hey, I feel bad for y'all Titans, but it's time to rebuild. It is what it is.
It's a different GM. Because really the GM for when we traded for AJ Brown was a different GM, and he was fired literally right after AJ Brown embarrassed the Titans coming to Philadelphia. I mean, that was just insane. But you're getting a vocal leader. You're getting a guy that can cover really well. I mean, doesn't give up big plays over the top. He's a great tackler. Like I said, he hasn't been a ball hawk as of recent, just because, like I said, if the offense can't sustain drives, defense is going to be gassed, and, that's just what it is. But I think Byard's happy to come home, and, and this is he's 30 years old, but it's it's a 30-year-old safety that's playing at a high level. And, you have a really, really good defense around it. So, I mean, I was shocked that Terrell Edmunds was even in the deal. I mean, I was shocked they actually moved him. I figured he'd get that piece, or I don't know, but I was actually really shocked. And, Sidney Brown just came back, and, Justin Evans is still, on IR right now. So, I mean, a couple more games, so a couple divisional games, and then we'll have our bye week. And then, get guys healthy, get guys ready and prepared. So, I mean,
Terrell Edmunds, to me, I mean, look, I don't think he's good. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I didn't think he was really, I think he was probably our worst safety this year, but he was a locker room guy. He definitely, I think, got along with everybody in that, locker room. Obviously, we saw him at some Phillies games. So I don't want to, I don't want to beat him up too much, because I have been talking a lot of shit. It is what it is, but
I mean, it's Tyreek Hill at the end of the day. I mean, that's what they gave up. I mean, it's really tough. I mean, I don't get why, if you play press, you're not putting your hands on, but that's just a whole nother thing. You're just mirroring a guy in press, which it shouldn't be press. It's just, I don't know what that is. But I like I said, it's a good move. And what other position do you think, like, maybe there's something else going on? What are you thinking?
As far as like what might happen, I wouldn't be surprised to see another either linebacker or defensive lineman. I know we have 10,000 defensive linemen, but they never shy away from getting another pass rusher. Me personally, I know offense probably isn't there's two spots on offense, and I know offense probably doesn't need the most of help, but offensive line, I kind of want to know what's going on with Cam Jurgens. Like, is this going to be something that kind of lingers? Should we get somebody that can maybe fill in that spot? Maybe that can swing at right tackle as well. We saw what happened with Jack Driscoll when he had to go in. So maybe you look in the market, see if there's a guy out there that, is maybe out of favor with his team that you can get some good play out of, just in case Cam Jurgens does, his injury does linger, and just in case, God forbid, something happens to one of your tackles. But outside of that, I've been really thinking, like, why don't we, and I love Kenny Gainwell, I'm going to preface it with that. I love Kenny Gainwell, but why don't we go find a running back that we trust as a pass protector and that can run the ball? I think that Kenny Gainwell is a good player, but I don't think he's good enough right now. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. He could be a great third guy, change a pace back, but to rely on him as much as we are, it kind of worries me. And it worries me because we're going to get into games where we need a guy out there that can, block for Jalen Hurts, because we're going to have to air it out. And I don't really trust Kenny Gainwell on those downs where we want to, because you can't just pass. You can't just pass it every time Kenny Gainwell's out there and expect NFL defenses not to catch on. So you have to run them, right? You have to sometimes run them. And it's annoying that sometimes it's in the red zone. So me, it's like, why not go out there, see if there's a guy, maybe like a James Robinson. I think he got cut. I don't know if he's still on the open market, but somebody that can pass protect but can run the ball a little bit more effectively between the tackles. Now, maybe not James Robinson, but somebody along those lines that is a better pass protector than at least DeAndre Swift. Because I don't trust Kenny Gainwell. I truly don't. And if he does go down, God forbid, then what? What happens? You know what I'm saying?
He's not a red zone threat. He's not. No. Like, I feel like when Kenny Gainwell's in, like there's no juice in the offense. I feel like there's just, I understand Swift with the pass protection. I get it. They're trying to get him in the passing game, which is great, which they've been trying to do. But at the same time, I don't like when Kenny Gainwell is in on certain third down situations, or third and long, or third and short situations, where third and short, you put in your best back, and it's not Kenny G. Because at the end of the day, like I said this last week when we were streaming, I said Kenny G, if he leaves the Philadelphia Eagles, he's going to be nothing for another team. I don't think he's going to be much of anything. He'll be another Josh Adams. He'll be another Wendell Smallwood. I'm not saying he's bad, but you have Rashad Penny that's sitting on the bench right now, and the Eagles apparently are still going to keep him for some weird reason, not getting, you need to get in some games, take some hits. At least you gotta just, you know what I mean? Because I just feel like it's a waste. It's been a waste of a roster spot. He was a healthy scratch, unless apparently they said he didn't feel good, which I hardly doubt they were going to sit him anyway, or activate him anyway. But Boston Scott's really not even getting. I think Boston Scott's better than Kenny G. To be honest with you,
yeah. Even in the red zone, especially in the red zone, yeah, I agree with, and we're not even the thing that blows my mind about Kenneth Gainwell being in there on red zone snaps is that you're not even freaking passing the ball in the red zone. Like, all you're doing is QB draws. You really need Kenny Gainwell out there lead blocking on QB draw. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. BrianJohnson, I'm not gonna say he's on a hot seat or anything like that. I'm not gonna go that extreme, but he got to do something, man. He's got to figure this out, because you're holding us back right now. Our offense is realistically holding us back. They are doing very well on paper. On paper, I think we're top 5 still in scoring, still like top 10 in yards per game and stuff like that. All beautiful. But imagine if this offense could just get it together at some point, because we've seen it. We see the problems, and I know I'm probably the most pessimistic Eagles fan sometimes, but we see it. We see what's going on. We see what's wrong. And yes, we're still winning. We're 6-1, and that's amazing. But we can lose these games. We can easily, just like that, a simple wrong bounce of the ball can take these games that we're giving up the ball 2 or 3 times in it, and we lose those games. So just as easy as we are 6-1, we could have been. We could have been 1-6. Realistically, we gave up the ball in every single game. Most of these games were way too close. The Dolphins game gave me a lot more confidence in this defense and this team overall. But still, you got to clean this up. You got to clean it up.
Yeah. Desai went into the Dolphins week because I think the hype of the Dolphins really pissed the Eagles off, because they were really not talked about even having a chance of winning that game. That it was going to be a close game. Maybe the Eagles weren't going to get the win, but I think part of it too was Sean Desai, defensively, to stop speed. It's going to take the physicality. That's what he talked about all week last week, and my God, they did. I thought they contained Tyreek Hill really well. 88 yards. That's a pretty good day. When Tyreek, every time Tyreek Hill was in motion, it was almost 9 out of 10 times they were giving him the ball most of the time. I was actually really shocked on all the misdirection, all those, all the motion. There's one too. Tua's looks like he puts it behind his back. It's crazy. And the Eagles really didn't get tricked too much. 45 yards against the run. They shut him down. They had to start running to the outside. So they didn't have that the Akane running back, Devin Akane, because that he's a good running back, and
he's different.
He definitely would have made maybe a little bit of a difference. But I don't, the Eagles have been good against the run regardless. But I was nervous going to that game. There's no doubt. I said by the Miami Dolphins game on Sunday night, they really have to get this offense running on all 4 cylinders. And I think it was, I don't think it was perfect. Like I said, there's stuff to nitpick. We're content creators, so we always got to take the good with the bad. It's not nothing's ever perfect here. But I think when you look at it, I think BrianJohnson called a better game. I think there's a lot going on with Jalen Hurts when it comes to this injury that's apparently he's been having, and it definitely wasn't from this game. He said after the press conference it wasn't from this game. I think that he ended up getting hurt early in the season, or was dealing with something when Hurts was getting hit the first few weeks. Remember, it was so many QB design runs. I think he's been hurt for a long time, and I think the coaching staff has forced him to stay in the pocket and not bail so early and not take unnecessary hits. I don't know what you think of that. We'll go with
and I have been hearing a bunch of reporters are saying that Los Angeles was the game that he got hurt. I think a lot of people are just guessing because they look at the film. If that is true, though, I will say this: if he was hurt in the Rams game, if I was Nick Sirianni, I would smack the hell out of BrianJohnson. So you're telling me this man was hurt? We all know he's hurt, and you're still running QB draws. You're still drawing up plays for him to go out there and run and possibly get even more hurt. I just don't get it. But yeah, it's weird. And it's funny. I was having this conversation actually with my girlfriend, because it was he sometimes needs to learn to just take a sack. You know, the interceptions are definitely not all on him. There's a lot of them, you know, tip passes. There's definitely things that happen around the interception. I'm not going to put 110% on him, but good 80% definitely goes on him. He's got to make better decisions. If you see something and you see, hey, this, just like he did, I forget what exact play it was, but he literally was trying to run around the corner, just fell down. He was just like, never mind. Yeah, my option's not open. I'm not even going to risk it. Let me just get down. Sometimes the best thing you can do is take a sack. Sometimes the best thing you could do is just throw that ball away. And, you know, it's his best and worst. It's his best and worst attribute, in my opinion. Like, he wants to make a play. He always wants to extend the play, find what he can find out of the defense. And sometimes there's just nothing there. And I think he needs to learn that, you know, live to fight another day. These interceptions are killer. The fumbles are killer, you know, and losing more yardage than you necessarily have to. There's been a lot of times where if he just steps up in the pocket, you lose a yard or two at the most. And instead he's trying to run around the edge and, you know, he loses more yardage. He just needs to grow, and it's nothing bad. It really isn't. You know, I think a lot of people hear us, you know, what's the word? Criticize Jalen Hurts and think like, oh, why are you hating on our quarterback? But he does this, but he does that. That's fine. He's still a 24-year-old quarterback. He does all that stuff amazingly, yes. But what if he gets that next step? What if he finally, you know? And last year, I think that he needed to learn how to read defenses a little bit better. He needed to learn how to go through his progressions a little bit better. And that was the criticism I gave him last year. He did that. Now his criticism is you got to learn when the play is dead. So I think it'll get better. I'm truly hoping it gets better because I can't deal with this all year. My anxiety will kill me. But, you know, nobody's perfect, you know, but I think that he definitely has a lot to prove, a lot to work on. The quarterback, I mean, the coaches, they might be telling him to, you know, throw it a little bit more, be in the pocket more. But if you know he's hurt, I'm not sure why we're utilizing him so much in the run game. That was like, when I heard that people were saying that it might have been the Rams game, that was the first thing that kind of
I heard it was the wrong. I heard when people looked at the Rams game, it was the wrong leg. So a lot of people said it wasn't the right leg. So it probably wasn't the Rams. It was probably a lot earlier than that. I wouldn't doubt it.
And that's BrianJohnson, like I said, I don't want to sit here and throw him off a bridge and, you know, say he's on a hot seat, but he's annoying the hell out of me. I will be honest with you. And he's got to change. He's got to get better. BrianJohnson is a rookie, just like, you know, a couple of these other guys, but he's got to get better. There's really no other way of putting it. He just got to get better.
I get it. Sorry, we're late on the super chats. House Cow super chat. Appreciate so much. Say what up. Love the content, guys. Do you think Nolan Smith will get more snaps after his last sack? His sack last game? Do you think the side will experiment with him more? I really hope. I mean, look, there are people who say, oh, well, he had nobody, it was pretty much a free sack at the end of the day, but he got it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Derek Barnett only has 2 tackles for the year. And I don't know how many snaps Derek Barnett played in this game, because it wasn't much. I didn't really see him on the field too much, but I mean, I look at before the season started, I was always looking at free agent defensive ends when Leonard Floyd and, Frank Clark and Yank Ngakwe and, some of these other guys, were, Jadeveon Clowney, all these guys are available, because I didn't know how much of a chance they were going to give Nolan Smith this year, because they had him listed as a linebacker. On most of the snap percentage counts, the official snap counts, he was listed as a Sam linebacker. So at this point, it's your first round pick. I mean, you gotta play him. You can't wait a year. You can't redshirt him a year. He averages 6-7 snaps a game. It's really not that much. Yeah. I don't know what you think of the whole thing with him, but
I think he deserves more snaps. I mean, he's been deserved. 7 snaps ain't doing nothing for you. Right? Like you said, that's not enough to really even see what you are. Like, and that's my biggest thing with him is not that, oh, he's so amazing. Every snap that he's out there, he's going insane, Jalen Carter type status. It's that you got to know what he is. You got to understand what he is. And I don't think any of us realistically know what he is or what he could be in the NFL. It was a, give me sack, but I don't have any sacks on this year. So, what I'm saying? Like, I'll take a give me sack. It is what it is. I mean, that's his job to go after the quarterback. So, this year, I feel like he's been asked a lot to be more of a coverage guy, and a lot is maybe a little bit of a, strong word. He's only got, I think, 43 snaps. So I want to see him out there more. I want to see him kind of more as a pass rusher, though. I would love to see him get better at coverage. I think, and talking to some people, I think what they're trying to do with Nolan Smith is make him more than just that pass rusher guy. He was a good coverage linebacker in college. He was a good, when they dropped him back, I should say, he was obviously very good at pass rushing. But I think they want to see him do a little bit of both. They don't want him to be kitty cornered kind of into what Hassan Reddick is, which Hassan Reddick is basically like a fourth lineman. He's not really a guy that you ask to go in coverage much. So I think they're trying to slowly bring him into a role that maybe isn't the easiest to get into, right? Like you look at somebody like a Jalen Carter, it's like, go do what you do, dog. Like, go be who you are. With Nolan, we're kind of being like, well, we want you to learn these schemes, fit our defense, kind of do this, kind of do that. But I think this is the week. I think, especially against Washington, and I'm not going to, sit here and act like Washington's absolute garbage.
No, we're not doing that.
They're just garbage. They're not garbage against us, apparently. But, this is going to be a good game. But at the end of the day, I think that these guys need to realize you have a weapon. So we need to see what he is now before the playoffs start, before these big games start, so we can know how to really, really utilize him and deploy him.
Yeah, I think with Nolan Smith in general, like, I understand. I think there is, I think it was like a few weeks ago when Desai was like, someone, I guess one of the beat writers asked, like, oh, why isn't Nolan Smith getting more snaps? And Desai was like, oh, you only give so many guys so many snaps, and we'll try to put them in some certain packages. But, like, I don't know if the Eagles are doing Derek Barnett a favor, because he asked for a trade. There was trade rumors before the season started. He wanted to be somewhere else because maybe he's just sick of the rotation. He wants to be a pure starter, or at least a backup or something like that. But at the end of the day, like, I think with Nolan Smith, I think it comes down to, I think it's got to be, maybe putting on a little bit more weight. I don't know if it's he's got to get a little bit more bulked up. But technique is really good with Nolan Smith. He's got a really good bend. Like, I think that's what's really going to put him far in the NFL. But he's just got to play more games. You don't know what you have until, he's a first round pick. It's not like he's a third, fourth round pick. You got to give him a chance here. Like, it's the example of the secondary. Like, I've never seen a team in the league throw so many undrafted guys in the secondary. It's just, and some of them play really well. Eli Ricks, we've been talking about him, like the future of this corner group, and where it's like, every time he plays, he shows up. Now, I think when it comes to the defense, especially, the adjustments have been good in the past few weeks. I thought the adjustments have been good in the second half. The Rams game, I thought they gave away a little too much to Washington the first time around, just because it was just, they were playing it way too careful in that game, and letting guys off the line too. Yeah, like, we're gonna see that every single game. We're never gonna they're playing like this every single game. It's just something we have to deal with. And really, they're going to guarantee so much into that pass rush, whether they rush 4, they rush 5. It really depends. But I think this defense has really, I'm starting to like the side a little bit. After that Miami game, I thought they did a really good job. Like, against a speed offense like that, once Tyreek or Waddle got the ball, like, they didn't necessarily go after the tackle. They kind of contain, and then tackled. And that was a smart thing to do. They were going to get a couple yards on it, but you don't want to give up the big play, because a 6-yard pass could turn to another 20, 30 yards. When you start missing tackles. So I think I think Desai has been doing really good. And he did say about Kevin Byard, I think early today, said that, they're going to be using, that they have a big plan for Kevin Byard, and using him to his strengths. And he could play. He's played both safety spots. He's played nickel in his career. It's good. You have the intensity of Brian Dawkins and his attitude. You have like a Malcolm Jenkins 2.0. We have the hybrid guy we've been missing from our defense. So,
and I think he's a guy that wanted to be here. I think that's huge. I think he wanted to be here. Like, obviously, it's tough it's the NFL. Like, if I was in the NFL draft right now, and whoever picked me, I'm gonna go play for him. But I'm sure he wants to be here. But I will say, I've seen people talking about, Barnett, who I think shouldn't have any snaps. I agree with you guys. But I've seen people talk about Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham's only got 14 snaps a game. Like there's a lot of linemen on this team, so it's tough. It really is tough. And if you do put him at that linebacker role, who are you going to take out? I mean, Nakobe Dean is playing well. He's not, he's playing pretty well every time he's out there. Zach Cunningham was surprisingly the starter with Nakobe Dean. And, you got, I always say Anthony Morrow. I don't know why. Nick Morrow. You got Nicholas Morrow. So who are you really going to take out if you want to put him at the linebacking spot? So they kind of put him in a bad situation, which we probably didn't think it would be a bad situation. If you told me, in the beginning of the year, hey, look, you got Cunningham and well, maybe Cunningham, but you got Cunningham and Morrow, and these guys are going to be your starters, and that's the only people that these guys, Nolan Smith has to beat out. I would probably take my chances in the beginning of the year. I'll probably be like, hey, Nolan got a good chance. But the way that they're playing, I'm not taking none of these guys out. So it's tough. It definitely is tough, but he'll get there. And when he does, I think he'll be insanely hungry. Like we saw when he got his first sack, Josh Sweat went crazy for him. So, I think that when he actually gets the PT that he wants, he's going to be hungry and we're going to see it. So,
yeah, I agree. We got Linda Conyers with the super chat. Thank you so much. Says, will Roby be back in the slot this week? I don't think so. He's week to week with his shoulder. I mean, maybe, but if it's week to week, it's going to be more than one game, probably.
I don't know for sure, but I mean, some signs are kind of pointing to, because we did release like two guys. One of the guys was a D-back. What's his name? Mekhi Garner, I think we just released.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't we just release another guy? Why am I Goodrich? Did we release Goodrich?
Yeah, I think he made it back to the practice squad, I think.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe he made it back to, but either way, I mean, Roby could be looking at coming back. I don't know. I don't know how many snaps he'll play, but I have a good feeling that he'll probably be back. Maybe that's a hot take, but I do think when you're looking at kind of how the moves are lining up, he might be good enough to go and play. Again, I don't know how many snaps. Maybe he's on a pitch count, but I think this is a game they want to get him back in.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of things. I mean, on both sides of the ball is a lot. There's little things to fix, and everything's fixable. We don't really have any big issues, but obviously, like I said, I think the red zone is probably the most important thing right now. Yeah. We can't rely on the tush push all the time, but it's working though. It's working. AJ Brown having another big game. I mean, gonna break Megatron's record with if he gets over 125 yards against Washington, man. He's gonna break Megatron's record of consistent 125 plus games. What do you think of the receiver core so far? I mean, really
beautiful. And it's funny. I've seen people talking about, oh, what if he was on a pass, heavy offense? What if imagine what he would be doing with the Dolphins? But that's not how it works. Okay. That's not how it works. AJ Brown is who AJ Brown is because of this team, because of his quarterback, and obviously because of him. But yeah, I just hate when people do that. But I love it, man. I think even Julio Jones obviously only had one catch, 3 yards, but I think his presence was felt. We saw him out there. It wasn't one of those things like he was disappearing. He was making good plays. He was making good blocks. He was there. He was definitely there. So I love it. It's interesting to see that everybody wanted to hate on my boy Quez Watkins, but as soon as Quez Watkins goes down, they don't give it to Olamide. They go out there and get another guy. So maybe they have way more faith in Quez Watkins than any of us do. So I think that was very, very interesting because I thought Olamide played decently, right? And why not just let him go out there and be that guy? Obviously, he did see some snaps out there, don't get me wrong, but just thought it was interesting. And I think that, Julio Jones is going to continue to find a role in this offense. And if we can figure him out, that's going to be incredible. Devontae Smith has got me a little bit worried, though. I'm going to be 100% honest. I mean, not to the point of, I'm going crazy, what's going on, but he's definitely been a little bit inconsistent. I want to see him get a little bit better. I want to see him hit his stride. I don't feel like he's really gotten into a groove yet. Dallas Goedert, I'm glad to see him kind of getting back into the fold of things and be a little bit more utilized. But yeah, I love this wide receiving core. And like you said earlier, for them to be now involving DeAndre Swift in the running game, in the passing game, that's huge. That's what you need to see. He's obviously not the best at pass coverage, but if all he has to do, if pass protection, but if all he has to do is chip block and get out in the flat, I think he can do that pretty darn well. And that gives Jalen Hurts another outlet, which I don't think we're allowing him enough of those. We have a lot of long developing plays or quick hitters that if they're not there, they're not there. And you need to give him an option in the flat or something like that. And I think that Swift gives him that. So this passing game, I think it's been very good. Don't get me wrong, but I think it could be one of the best in the league once we start cutting down on these turnovers and, mental errors. But I love it. You told me this 4 or 5 years ago when we had Jordan Matthews and all these bums, that we would have this as our wide receiving core. I would say, Joe, stop smoking. It's not good for you. I wouldn't believe you. I would not believe you. But this is an amazing team to watch so far, especially offensively. I mean, defensively, it's been incredible to see what he's been able to do with what he has. But offensively, you just got so many dogs out there. So once they really hit their stride, it's a wrap. It really is a wrap.
Yeah, everybody's trying to say even the Miami game, like, that there's been opportunity. I mean, the penalties, the missed calls, and that was all over Twitter. And Eagles got away. Everything went the Eagles' way. And to be honest, I mean, it really didn't. And I get it. There's missed calls every single game. Okay, I don't even want to hear it from certain fan bases because Miami literally had a pick six deflection. An easy pick six deflection. They had Tyreek Hill literally kneeing the ball after really walking into the end zone for a touchdown and dropping it and then bouncing out of bounds. Thank God. So that saved a lot of things. So, it went both ways. I think A.J. Brown on that catch between the two defenders, his jersey was
Yep, dragged
him and still caught the ball, so it's just, it's going to happen every single game like that. It's what it is. And when it comes to the receivers, like I hold the receivers to, we have to hold the receivers to a high standard. So if Devontae Smith drops an easy one, it pisses me off. Yeah. Did it during the Jets game when we were at midfield. He dropped it at the 40 or the 30 and had nobody around him. But I think we'll be all right. It's just, we're talking about 2 drops. We're not talking about, a whole lot in 7 weeks.
I think the difference between now and like 2019 or 2020, because we made the Super Bowl last year. So 2020, right? I think 2021, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The year we went out and got blown out by.
Your mic. Yeah. Your mic went out.
I swear my mic hates me. But no, 3 years ago when we were going against the Buccaneers, the difference between that year and this year and the mistakes column, at least, we're talking about moments now. You know what I'm saying? Like then we were talking about full games. Like what's the heck going on? Whole, unit of a position group is terrible. This is that. Now we're talking about this guy is too good to be doing this. You know what I'm saying? And we're talking about moments. So it's a good spot to be in as a Eagles fan because, obviously we've seen horrible teams, right? We've seen horrible teams, but now it is what it is. We have to kind of pick our spots and figure little things out. So I love it. I love this team. And I know I complain a lot, but that's what we do. That's what we're supposed to do. It is what it is.
I get it. No, it's just what it is. Donnie says Julio Jones, aka Seasoned Batman. I'm actually really I'm really excited. I'm actually pretty excited about it because I think you have an upgrade here. I think in the slot. I think getting them acclimated a little bit more this week. I don't see why not. I think it's going to be. I think he's going to get a lot of attention. There was a mic'd up moment that was on Twitter. Did you see the mic'd up moment where Hurts was apparently mic'd up this week and
he was seeing double.
Yeah. Like he thought. I guess he thought. What was it that Julio was that AJ Brown was Julio for on one of the passes, I guess, or something like that.
I think he said he was seeing a double AJ Brown. He was seeing 2.
Yeah. And it's just I think like I said, Zacchaeus, I think he only got targeted, what was it, like one time? It was that it was a behind. That wasn't really a great throw either, but it is what it is. Look, I'm not expecting a perfect throw every single time either. Like it happens, but obviously the turnovers need to, lessen down a little bit. But we talked about obviously, this injury and if they're forcing Hurts to stay in the pocket and all that. So hopefully, really after these next 2 weeks, like they'll have a little nice bye week and get guys rested and he can rest himself. Because we're going through a gauntlet right now, but this Miami game really got me more motivated. I mean, I mean, I know this team is good, and I couldn't say that that they were just going to roll over for Miami, and they really took it to them physically. And now I want to ask, because the NFC in general, because how we felt really before the season started, looking at the schedule, we said the first 6 weeks were like they have to win those games. Those are the games that they could definitely win. They could be 6-0, okay, before the Miami game, and obviously losing to the Jets. But now looking down the road, seeing the 49ers, seeing the Bills, like what are you taking from now? As of right now, things could change later with some of the other teams, but as of right now, looking forward of the 49ers, the Bills, the rest of the schedule, how's it looking so far?
First, I think that to reply to Donnie, I think that Julio Jones might be Alfred, right? Because that's the old head that takes care of the Batman. So he might be Alfred. But no, look, as a fan, I think that we should be able to beat every team on our schedule, if I'm being honest. I mean, the Cowboys have shown weaknesses. The Chiefs have shown a weakness, I guess. They've had some pretty close games. So, you look at the Bills, like you said, they've lost some good games. Everybody. The 49ers have not looked good the last 2 weeks. So everybody's shown weakness, and realistically, I'm not too afraid of anybody. What's going on, Lindy? But I will say, if I was in the locker room, right? If I was part of the Eagles, I would be looking at every single team like it's a Super Bowl matchup. We saw what happened when we didn't, right? We looked at the Jets, and I feel kind of looked ahead of them. We didn't really look at them. We looked past them.
Agreed.
We can't do that. I feel like to a certain extent, we might have done that with the Washington Commanders a little bit. So I truly feel like if you're the Eagles, you got to look at every team like this is the Super Bowl. They got everything that can, you know what I'm saying, that you need to stop and you need to figure it out. But as a fan, I truly do believe that, especially after that Miami game, there's no team out there that really scares me. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you were asking me before last week, I would have told you Miami kind of worries me. I mean, they have a crazy offense. How are we going to be able to keep up with them? I told my nephew, I was like, listen, bet on the over. I don't know how our defense holds Miami at all. So I was shocked, and it was a good shock, and especially with the injuries that we had, it gave me a lot of confidence to realistically say there is not a team on this schedule that I don't think we can beat. So now they got to go out there and they got to take every game seriously, and that's to me the biggest thing. As long as they're going out there and taking it seriously, and BrianJohnson's not being an absolute idiot, I think they can win almost every single game. So it's going to be tough. It's never easy. You got the Bills, I think, and the Chiefs within 6 days, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. And then you got, the 49ers within the 3-week span of those two games. So it's kind of weird and it kind of sucks, but you've put yourself in a position now that you can lose one of those games and it doesn't end your season, especially when you look at the NFC. That's probably the biggest thing. Like the NFC, we're still undefeated in the NFC, and that's huge. Because if you look at other teams, you look at the Cowboys, you look at the 49ers, you look at some of these other teams, they have NFC losses. And that once those seeding comes into play, which we all know Eagles would love to be at home for this, playoff run, that's going to be huge. That not losing too many games in the NFC is something that I'm definitely keeping my eyes on. If we can go out there and beat Washington, now we're undefeated in the NFC East so far. Hopefully we can go out there and blow out the Cowboys. So, look, you put yourself in a really good position, you being the Eagles, and now it's time to take advantage of that in the later part of the season. And I think they will. I said 14-3 before the season. No, I said 13-4 before the season. I'm going to probably stick to that. I think that you maybe lose to the Chiefs. You maybe lose to the, one game to the Cowboys or something like that. But other than that, I don't really see many losses coming our way. We put ourselves in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's even I think it comes down. We sort of talked about this a little bit before the show started, but it comes down to the quarterback. And even watching the Vikings 49ers game, and Brock Purdy throws up. I mean, these quarterbacks that throw picks and they just can't get out of their own way. And I understand like Trent Williams wasn't playing. I understand Debo is out. I get it, but there's certain quarterbacks that don't deal with adversity very often. And Brock Purdy has dealt with it 2 times, and he's lost 2 of those games. And Kirk Cousins just looked fantastic. No Justin Jefferson. Addison's fantastic. He's going to be a really good addition. He's a very good addition to that team, no doubt. But the Bills aren't playing very good right now. I mean, I think the Eagles are peaking defensively. I think they're peaking, perfectly right now. They're starting to rise just a little bit. Now adding Kevin Byard, and now, God knows what else they're going to do before the trade deadline. But, with Jalen Hurts, we might get pissed off when he's throwing these picks sometimes, but always comes back and he always scores. Like, he always stays on his 2 feet, and it doesn't get affected. I think really realistically, even the Super Bowl last year, like, he had the scoop and score touchdown, and he still made plays. Like, he doesn't fold like a lawn chair, bro. It doesn't happen.
He came out and scored right after that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a franchise quarterback. Because every time, like, if Hurts throws a pick, like, everybody's like making a big deal about, like, trust me, like, even last game, it's like, I can't even put too much on a deflection pick. Like, that ball can go in any damn direction. And it was the guy was like, oh shit, I got the ball, and just ran. I mean, it was that easy. And I was just like, man, that really sucks. But it didn't make Hurts do too much. And, people in my chat were saying he's Carson Wentz. He's going to Carson Wentz it. It's just, you can't give up on this QB, man. As much as everybody's like, we may get pissed at Hurts sometimes for some of the decision-making with his throws. And I think part of it is getting him into a rhythm. And I think part of it is this little stupid injury that he has that I think the Eagles are trying to, it bothers me because I want to unleash Hurts so bad, but at the same time, they want to kind of not get him hit too much. And I get it. He's starting to slide a lot more. He's not going through bodies like he used to early in the season. I think that's what messed up a lot of things. They think he got hit way too much early in the season. Mobile quarterbacks don't last long if you're running into guys constantly all year. You got to protect your quarterback. So, and losing
Cam Jurgens definitely didn't help. Losing Landon Dickerson for that game didn't help. Losing Lane Johnson didn't help. There's a lot, and people are gonna be like, oh, it's excuses, and it is excuses. At the end of the day, you got to get better, but those are things that happen. Those are real things that happen. The Phillies don't look like they're coming back, but it is what it is. What it is. I don't know if you see me keep on looking up like, no, it is what it is. He's definitely got to get better, but there are so. And hopefully those circumstances get fixed too, because it's not all on Jalen. It really is not all on Jalen, and I hate saying that because I'm one of those people that, you can't make excuses. You gotta, but it really isn't. Like you said, you see a tipped interception like that. Like, I mean, I could have caught that, What are you gonna do about it? It's anything that can go wrong is going wrong for the Eagles right now, and we're still 6-1, which is insane in my opinion. So, we just got to take it one game at a time and just hope that, like you said, we start peaking at the right time. And we have that bye week at the perfect time, to be honest with you, because if we
it's the perfect bye week.
Yeah, if we go out there and buy, some miracle of God for the Cowboys, at least the Cowboys beat us, you now have that week off. You can kind of recalibrate, kind of figure out what you did wrong, come back out and go crazy in that second half of the year. Because if you can make it through that second half of the year and, still be the top team, one of the top teams, you should have the utmost confidence in yourself, because there's no way you can feel like you can't beat anybody in the playoffs. There's no team that's going to be in the playoffs that we either haven't played or, are demolishing us. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you go out there, play a good game against Kansas City, even if you lose, if you go out there against the Niners, you go against all these really, really good teams and you win a good amount of them, but at the same time, I hate my mic.
Your mic. Is it the wire? Is it the wire? Or
I don't know why the wire. I think it's my dog. My dog keeps on hitting it. But either way, I think that if you're there and you win a good amount of these games, you should have the utmost confidence in yourself, because all these teams that you're playing are playoff or, late playoff Super Bowl type teams. So, I mean, look, you saw the Vikings, what the Vikings did. They went out there and balled out. You saw what it's a week by week league, but you have to feel confident with what you've seen so far. I mean,
I've been saying that every week. It's a week-to-week league. Like I've been saying that every single week. You look at a team, you're like, it's like people, teams need to watch out for us. Like we got to start thinking that way. I get it. Like, we are our own, we are dangerous to ourselves in a lot of ways. Trust me. Like the only, the only way the Eagles lose is because of the Eagles. That's how I think every single week, because there's nothing that could stop this offense. There's nothing that could stop this defense. I mean, even the nonconformist says, I love the Eagles are never content, always trying to get better. This GM and just not wasting, you see what Jerry Jones said today? He's like, I'm not making any moves. I'm not making any moves for the deadline. It's like, all right, it's, Micah Parsons making him look like an idiot on his podcast. He just said the Eagles were like the best team. Like he's just like these players that have these podcasts now. I don't know. I feel like they're putting like a big target on their back. Like, and it's just, at this point, it's like you're talking about a division rival. Like, it's just
maybe not the best time to say it either. Like we're playing you guys in 2 weeks, so
right.
Maybe calm down on the niceties, but hey, we'll take it. And it's crazy because people talk so much junk about Nick Sirianni. They talk so much junk about the culture of the Eagles and stuff, but the culture of the Eagles is going to make a lot of players that y'all don't really think is ever going to be an Eagle want to be an Eagle. And the more that we get into this type of NFL where players have their own podcast and players have a lot more say in where they go and what they do with their career, a lot of more players are going to want to go play for the Eagles. So, you can hate our coach, you can hate our culture, hate our GM. They're building something here more than just a winning football team. This is a winning culture. This is a real, I don't want to even say family, because it's more than that. It's like people want to be in Philly. People want to play in Philly. People want to play against Philly. Like it's a whole experience. You hear people talk about our fans, talk about our coach, and you don't talk about us that much if you're not somewhat impressed. Maybe you do hate us that much, but you're somewhat kind of wishing that you had what we had, especially Cowboys fans. I don't want to, talk too much about Cowboys fans, but they definitely want what we got. And that much is apparent, because when we made that Kevin Byard trade, you saw nothing but Cowboys fans either trying to diminish who Kevin Byard is or just straight up saying, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing we can say about this. This sucks.
There's nothing you can say. I mean, there's nothing you could say. I mean, they have to respect the GM. The GM is always looking to upgrade this roster during the year. And it's great because some of these draft picks that we have, like, not only how he thinks in the moment, but like every year he always thinks ahead. Even during the draft, he thinks, oh, let's try to get some more picks for next year. Because you always have the ammo to do things before the trade deadline. Yeah. I'm surprised it was the 5th and the 6th. I was actually surprised it was the 2 picks and Edmonds, which, everyone maybe thinks that's a lot, but to me, it's really not, because plus compensatory this year going into next year, who knows what they're going to get back. How he can get 5th and 6th round picks very easily. So I'm not really worried about it. The one thing, like, I really don't want to do, and it really comes down to, like, and I'm not trying to think ahead to the Super Bowl and I'm just saying if the Eagles get to the Super Bowl this year, okay, I think Jason Kelce needs to, like, cut that podcast with Travis for, like, those 2 weeks. I'm not even kidding.
Facts.
I'm not even kidding, bro, because it pissed me off. Like, they hyped up that, like, I get it with the brothers being, brothers the first time going to be in a Super Bowl. I watched the prime Kelce thing, which was really good. It was a really good thing, but it was really sad too, because I feel like there's so much attention around Kansas City right now with what, and we don't even have to fucking say it at this point. But it's just like, it really pissed me off of how just how we lost that game, and how Jason Kelce behind the scenes was just so like, man, I wish it was me, and it sucks. It's a horrible position to be in. Like, the mother's getting all the attention, and the 2 brothers, and now with everything else involved, like I don't, let me get the two teams are 6-1 right now. The 2 teams, KC and the Eagles right now. And, potentially who knows what could happen at the end of the year, but the Eagles got to take care of business. I'm just speaking from just talking in the future. I'm not trying to say anything's going to happen, but, I really want us to get back, man, because I feel like with this defense we have right now, I feel like we could do some good things. And with Kevin Byard in the mix now, and getting, we'll get Justin Evans back, and Sidney Brown just got back, and we'll see what happens with the rest of these guys going forward. So I think it's going to elevate this team, and the offense. Hopefully we can hit on all 4 cylinders soon. Like I think the red zone has got to be fixed, because I felt like if you were kicking field goals against Miami, you weren't going to win that game. That's what I thought. The only thing I complained about the defense was really the 3rd and 18. That was the only thing that really pissed me off. But I said to myself, even before that play, I said to myself, like, I don't care if it's 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20. Like, all it takes is Tua to have just a little bit of time. And, let me ask you this, because I think this is important. What do you think of Slay? Do you think is it scheme, or do you think he's definitely, like, his age is showing?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's 3 things. I think it's both of those. I think his age is showing a little bit. I think he has lost a little bit of a step. I mean, that's natural. And I think that the scheme isn't necessarily, it doesn't help him. I won't say it hurts him, but it definitely doesn't help him. It puts him out on some islands. And the third thing, honestly, I think it's that you've went against some of the best wide receivers in the game these first 6 weeks or 7 weeks. Like you've went against Jefferson. You went against Terry McLaurin, who I think is one of those guys if he ever got a quarterback. You went against, I'm trying to think of all the teams we played. The Patriots don't have any wide receivers, but you went against the Miami Dolphins. You had to go against Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Who else did we play that had really good wide receivers?
Oh, the Rams. I mean, Puka, Nakua, and
it's like, when did he really get a chance to be like, all right, this guy is good? You know what I'm saying? This guy across from me is good, but he's not me. You know what I mean? All these guys are that guy. Like, you can make an argument for all these wide receivers. So doesn't dismiss or doesn't, it doesn't make it okay that he's, having some down plays. But at the same time, you got to kind of give him a little bit of Tampa. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they got good wide receivers. So it's like you have so many wide receivers that you have to go against that cannot help you. I mean, that's tough, bro. And I've been saying that from the beginning of the season. It's like, it's hard for me to really like get on this guy. Everybody is getting beaten by Justin Jefferson. Everybody's getting beat by Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. Like, it is what it is. I don't know. We still won the game, and that's kind of what sometimes the defense has to do, is just say, look, we're not going to stop this guy. We just got to try and contain him. We got to try and slow him down. So it sucks. And I definitely think that is a couple things definitely put together. But I think he'll be fine. I think he will be fine. And I think that seeing what Eli Ricks can do, seeing what Josh Jobe can do, seeing what some of these young guys can do now gives you that option to say, okay, Darius Slay, you look like you're getting a little tired right now. Let's pull you out. Let's put Eli Ricks in. And it doesn't really affect people. Like, it obviously changes sometimes what you can do with the scheme, but I think James Bradbury would say, oh, I trust Eli on that side. We're good. You know what I'm saying? I think the safety will be like, oh, I could take another little chance because Eli ain't bad. He got this. And safety play too. I think that's number 4. That kind of goes into what, Darius Slay is dealing with. Darius Slay can't really depend on whoever the safety is at any given, like maybe Reed Blankenship. That's really the only guy, but Justin Evans has been out of position a lot. Terrell Edmonds was living out of position. I don't think he ever got into position. So it's like you got a new safety back there almost every week. It's tough, man. Darius Slay, he's going to get a lot of eyes on him, and rightfully so, right? He's a big money cornerback, big play Slay. But he just got to make plays when they're there.
He made a big play. He made a big play, like he, when he gets to play, he gets to play. I know when Tua threw off the back foot, I was like, oh, where's this going? Right at that play, I was hoping to God. But yeah, I mean, they fixed, look, you got to fix your back end. I think they did that. I think that's been like the, look, it's against Tyreek Hill. And out of all the weeks, like you're playing off ball like this, that was the perfect week to do it. There's some receivers that I don't think you have to play off the ball that much. Like Mike Evans, I didn't think you really had to like move back. All right. I looked at this Miami game. I even looked at a play with Slay. Okay. I even counted. I looked up I literally turned I paused it. I went on my knees. I went right to my TV, like up close to count the actual yards. He was off the ball like 10 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get how you're supposed to defend, how you're supposed to defend that. I really don't. Like sometimes I just question myself. I'm like, I don't know what's going to go on, but I think future wise, secondary wise, Eli Ricks, I think potentially could be your nickel corner. he could. I mean, I don't know. I mean, because I feel like he is playing nickel. He plays outside sometimes, but I've been very, very impressed. And you're gonna have a lot of corners. You got to change your offseason program, obviously, but I feel like like I was watching like Devin Weatherspoon from Seattle last week. I was like, damn, he's physical. He's got that pushback attitude. He's full of juice, man, of youth and just juice. And I absolutely love it, man. And we're gonna have to go down that direction really soon. So I'm not talking about draft or anything now, but I mean, we'll get there when we get there.
We might. This year, there's some good cornerbacks in the draft, especially from PA. We might take a guy straight from PSU, man. If we can get Caden King, I will cry.
Yeah.
Serious, I would cry if we got Caden King from Penn State. It would be a wrap. That would be amazing. But we got some dogs on this team already, so the answer might be already here.
Well, we got 301 people in the chat, guys. Appreciate it so much. I've been putting Joe Castro's link below and in the live chat. Check the description. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. It covers the Philadelphia Eagles every single day and gets the news out to you. Plus, Joe goes to the draft. He covers news at the combine. He does all that great stuff. And, we'll be looking forward to that, in the offseason next year as well. So
hopefully get to the Super Bowl too,
Hey. How do you get those credentials? How was that?
You just got to apply for them. I've applied the last couple of years.
How much information do they need for you to?
So you just, I want gems. If y'all can do it. Shoot, y'all can do it. As long as you have an NFL account, like a communications account with them. So it's like a media website. And you can go there even if you don't have account. They give you information and stuff like that about just random stuff. Like they'll give you random stats and stuff like that. But yeah, NFL communications, you can Google them and you sign up and, you put your credentials in and what you've done and, the size of your audience, what media you use and what medium you use as far as the media goes. And then you apply and it takes a long time to get accepted. I've been applying for all this stuff since I started my show, since I started Philly. So that's like 3-4 years now of applying. And last year was my first year. So
do you think like doing stuff with Frank and some of these other Fran and some of these other guys have really helped? Does that help you in some way or is it
not really, unfortunately, because that stuff is run by the NFL. So unfortunately, I can't really I'm hoping that, my connections with them and like friendships with them can maybe get me into like training camp and stuff like that. The biggest thing that's holding me back right now is where I live. If I'm being 100% honest, it's just living out in Tampa. It's tough. It's really tough. Yeah. So, I'm hoping like maybe not this upcoming year, but the year after that we'll be in a good financial place. Me and my girl been trying to save up and get ahead of things. And we've been looking at possibly moving back up north. So hopefully in a couple of years, I'll be able to do that. So, but yeah, no, honestly, I always tell people because people always ask like how to get credentialed. It's you can do it. You can try and apply yourself at least through the NFL. A lot of the Eagles stuff is through the Eagles. You would have to actually email their VP of something. I forget what his, but either way, you can just email him. I believe so. I mean, all this information is available like on their website. Like people don't realize how easy it really is to actually do it. It's hard to get accepted, but it's easy to put the application in there. So, I mean, shoot, Joe, if you want, I'll shoot you the website, let you know how to apply. Shoot, because
I'm not putting it. Bro, I told you I ain't no podcast. I can do this, but I will shit my pants if I even have to ask a question. I'll be stuttering. I'd probably be like, I'll sound like a complete dumbass, probably. I don't know how you do it.
I was this close to going to the Arizona Super Bowl, to the Super Bowl that the Eagles were in. I was literally this close because I worked with Michael Vick. But unfortunately, that party got canceled that I was supposed to go host for him. So that was like my end. That was like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, if I got down there through that, I was going to go to the Super Bowl and try and cover it and shit.
But you still got to travel and you still got to,
yeah, it's not easy, bro.
No, I get it.
The Kansas City trip, that pushed me back like $1,000, $2,000 easily. Like even with the GoFundMe and everything, people thought that I made money off that. Nah, I was baroque after that, and because everything is expensive. But it was an amazing experience.
So the GoFundMe thing, right? So before we get into super chats, the GoFundMe thing. So is that like, do they take a percentage out of that, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I think they take like a couple percent, like
of course
nothing crazy.
Of course they do. Of course they fucking do.
It wasn't too much.
Bullshit, dude.
It was worth it. It was definitely worth it to get those donations.
I hate corporate. I fucking can't. Everything you use, man. Everyone wants to. I can't stand it.
Everybody got to put their hand in their kitty. And you know what's crazy about GoFundMe? And I know this is kind of like really off topic, but I'm sorry, but
no, go ahead. You're good.
If somebody puts up a GoFundMe and it's like a big, charity or whatever it may be, and you donate. So say you donate like $10, right? But the GoFundMe doesn't like either hit their mark or they shut down the GoFundMe and they don't want to do it. GoFundMe has the right to hold that money until you request a refund.
What?
And you get a percentage of what you paid.
What, they hope you forget? Like,
basically, what? Yeah. Basically, after a while, they just take it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's kind of crazy.
So what if you don't meet the goal? Like, what if you can
still pull it. You can still pull it out. Like if you set it for that, you have to hit the goal. Then I think there's like options that you can set it for that you have to hit the goal or that you don't. But I mean, yeah, it's when I saw that, I was like, damn, that's messed up.
Dude, like, screw it. I mean, I've told you before. It was like if you do the draft next year, up it. I mean, at this, you know what I mean? Like it's not cheap to travel and do all that. It's not like don't be afraid to look, like I know it's hard to trust people these days, but guys, trust me, Joe puts in a lot of fucking work that I wouldn't have balls to do. He goes to the draft. He's recording. Obviously he has, your girlfriend helps you with a lot of that, right? With the recording and stuff. Maybe like, so you're doing like something else.
That's the only like sucky part about it is that a lot of times you'll get like one credential. So I can't like bring my girl to a lot of the stuff like in the thing. So that kind of sucked, but yeah, no, it was a huge help. Even just being at the hotel, dropping me off, picking me, because even that parking was like $50 to sit at the combine. It was like ridiculous. It was crazy. It was just everything. Anywhere you looked, it was like, all right, that's $50.
I gotta use the bathroom. There's a butler sitting in the bathroom, like he fucking puts like powder on your hands. He washes your hands for you. It's like
you had
$10.
to put $50 worth of coins in the coin side. Like it was ridiculous, bro. It was amazing. And it was cool being able to see like, obviously you 500, people utilizing the information or just saying, hey, I read your, name on this XYZ website. Like that was really, really cool. And it definitely was worth it. And I can't wait. I was going back and forth because, it's in Detroit this year. The draft is in Detroit. So I was a little bit worried, but my boy lives out there. He runs a big show out there. So we'll probably get a nice little setup going for that. So I definitely got to go out this year, but I'm excited. I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Definitely. We got super chat from Dark Rapid says Parsons mad because Howie took him on a personal visit during a draft night and didn't take him. Sounds like he's scorned but wants to be with us.
He does.
It's just I'm not a fan of like see like podcasts are fine. Like when like New Heights with the Kelsey brothers, like they're fine because they talk about other stuff and like they'll go into like random stuff and that's fine. But like Parsons he gets personal with some things and you're in season, like you're working for an organization in season and you're talking about a team like in division or you're talking about the 40 with George Kittle with the shirt and like it was just really embarrassing, dude. Like it's just like you're going on TV during the draft or they draft Jalen Carter, he gets up like he makes himself look like an idiot on national televition. Like AJ Brown,
he does it every night. That's the thing. Like at least New Heights is like once a week. It's in the middle of the week. You probably don't got too much going on and they edit it. They have people that do all that stuff for them. So all they're really doing is sitting down and talking for like an hour or two. But with Micah, this man's like, he's over here playing GTA, talking junk to people every night. Like, man, like it's the NFL. So you're like, dude, so what are you doing, bro? Like, but it's funny because Micah has always And, go back 2 or 3 years ago, you could probably clip me saying the exact opposite of this because I was such a big fan of him when he was at PSU. But he's always been immature. He's always been that guy you had to worry about what he did off the field more so than what he did on the field because he didn't know how to get it together. Like he's just immature. He's not one of those immature guys that's gonna go out there and get drunk at a bar and beat up people, but he's one of those immatures that just don't know when the hell to shut up sometimes.
Yeah, I know. That's yeah.
Oh, he plays around too much because I don't know if you know what happened in Penn State with him and like the whole he got in trouble for basically holding down freshmen and threatening to I don't want to like demonetize your channel, but he was like, what happened in Penn State with
Yeah. I know the story.
He was threatening the kids that.
What?
Yeah.
I never even heard of that.
Yeah. That's what
I heard of the situation, but I know he was involved in it. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, his like involvement was that he like legitimately. This is the only thing that I know that they said he did. There was other stuff that I heard that happened, but I don't know if he necessarily did it. But he was one of the people that held them down and was like, "Oh, we're gonna see and dusky you." So, yeah.
Oh my God, I never even knew that. We got super chat from Eagles Army Down Under says Ricks is better than Maddox his rookie year. Yeah, I mean, there's a different defense around the defense around Maddox that year wasn't. I don't think it was as good as this year, but
yeah, and you saw way more of Ricks than you did in Maddox. I mean, well, you see more of Maddox, than you did Ricks this year. So it's tough to say. I think that Ricks is going to be better once his career is said and done. I think that Eli Ricks is really, really good. I really do. I've been saying this since before the draft. I thought he was going to be a first round guy. I thought he was going to be first round, early second round. I did not think he would drop all the way to undrafted. So we got us a guy the talent is there. The talent is definitely there with him. So, was he Christian Gonzalez? Was he, I don't know, Devin Witherspoon? No, he wasn't them, but he's a dog. He's an absolute dog.
I mean, sometimes those guys that are were successful in college, didn't give up a touchdown for Alabama, has to go to a roster undrafted and really climb up that ladder again. Not used to being in that position. Now he's the little dog out of everybody now and has to climb up the, scratch and claw up as much as possible. And every chance that he got, that Baltimore game, that, playing starting receivers against the Colts. And, we were praying he was going to make the team. He made the team. And then, getting the chances that he's getting right now, I mean, he's been making the most out of it. I mean, Tyreek Hill, to get just to be physical with him at the line, that's what I miss with these corners. Just getting your hands on, disrupting the route, and just and that's his strength probably. And when you have these guys, sometimes they just have to get physical, and he's been fantastic. I don't know when's the last time. I think Devontae Bosby was the last guy that did so good in the offseason. I forgot how many years ago that was. Devontae Bosby. That just popped in my head.
That's a throwback.
Yeah, some guys do good in preseason. Some guys do too good, and you're like, who's that defensive lineman we had that played so well a few years ago? It was a defensive lineman. He did so well, and he made the roster.
The international kid, the kid that was on the international contract. I forget what his name is. I forgot. I think I know who you're talking about because they were calling him the JJ Watt of our practice squad and all that stuff. I forget what his name is. But yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and he got to the regular season and he didn't do a damn thing. I forgot his name. That's what happens. But Ricks is different because he really showed out. He just really showed out on multiple occasions. And you see him against starters, and he go into a season against Tyreek. I know it's 3 snaps, but there's too much flash right now to say that there's nothing there. There is something there.
And the more that Matt Leo, I think it might be. I don't know.
No, it was a different name.
Matt Leo's on the team now. Yeah. I forget what his name is, but it was somebody. Either way. And with Ricks, keep on building his confidence. And that's why I say, keep throwing him in there. Keep, if we got a good lead, get him in there, get Slay out, get Bradbury out on, get him some breathers and keep his confidence going up because we might need him. We might need him as soon as next year. We might need him as soon as this year. Hopefully not, but who knows? Get his confidence up. That's all you got to do, man. And we are in a very unfamiliar territory. When's the last time you could say we got some really good starting cornerbacks? Oh, when we got some people in the wing. You know what I'm saying? I can't ever remember saying that about the Eagles. So hopefully they understand what to do with them. And to me, it's really just get these guys comfortable.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're kind of keeping your starters healthy if you're getting these guys some snaps. So we'll see what happens. But I like where we are with a lot of our youth. You look at the running backs; they're all pretty young. Our offensive line, outside of Jason Kelsey, which you assume we'll find somebody to play safety. To play center. Excuse me. You look at Lane Johnson; he's maybe got 2 or 3 more years on him, but we've been able to draft another offensive lineman like it's nothing. Like we've been drafting offensive linemen in the 2nd and 3rd round.
That's fine.
And they've been the best offensive linemen within 2 years, which is insane. So I feel confident in everything. As long as we got Stoutland, I'm not worried about that offensive line. And as
I don't think Sewell Pett has been horrible. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's been that bad at all. Like I feel like the Jets game, I think everything was just falling apart. I think there was a couple. I heard even with the Lane Johnson giving up his sack, I think that was part of I think it was slide protection. I think because there was another guy that came in on the edge that was free, so there was something going on there. But no, I mean, with Jeff Stoutland takes care of the offensive line for the draft. I mean, other than really Andre Dillard, to be honest, Dillard was redshirted his rookie year. I think the Eagles ruined him. I think they definitely, he didn't really help on his own getting hurt. He got hurt constantly, but I felt like when Jason Peters was here, they you draft a guy in the 1st round and you redshirt him. I don't know what the hell we were doing. I don't even know at this point, but
it's not like, Jason Peters was out there looking like what's it called? All pro bowler, everything that year. He was looking terrible that year.
Ty Anderson Sports says you Eagles fans sound so happy. So Ty Anderson, I kind of blast him on Twitter today, but me and Ty are good friends. We text all the time. And he's going to be on the Philly Shakedown this week, actually. Oh. So he's going to have a little segment with us to talk about Kevin Byard and, what he's seen from him in the past few years. Since, he's, and Ty Anderson's the #1 Titan content creator. There's really not many of them out there, which is kind of crazy. And to kind of give insight on Kevin Byard and just the situation in general. And, we'll probably crack some jokes at him and say that, look at AJ Brown. Look, he's with a real team now. Yeah. So,
that team's falling apart. Would you, before, I don't know if you like, but would you go after Derrick Henry? Would that be something that went through your head? I know that and how far would you go? Because I feel like they probably want a 2nd, maybe a 3rd at the very least.
I say because of his age, and I have to give respect to Derrick Henry and what he could do, I say you got to give a 3rd round pick. I wouldn't use one of our seconds. Plus, we have the Saints second round pick, which they're 3-3.
I think 3-3, yeah, or something like 4-2, something like 4-3, or something like that.
So I don't know. I mean, not for him. I mean, if you want to use somebody for red zone and you want to. This guy could be better than signing LeGarrette Blount, in 17. I mean, this guy, I mentioned Derrick Henry getting to the 2nd level, not even getting touched at times. I mean, I can't even, on top of his physicality, to drag guys for more yards and stay alive. I mean, it would be overkill. You wouldn't have to worry about the red zone anymore. But the problem we're having is just certain substitutions with using Kenny G, running with Jalen Hurts, and hopefully they get Julio Jones more involved. I mean, get Dallas involved, in the in red zone or something, because that's the main thing. I feel like we can get down the field easy. We get into red zone and we just fucking have no idea how to play football. It's like they totally he takes out this play. He has the sheet in front of him when he would go downfield, and then he takes out the notepad when we get the red zone. He takes out the ripped up notepad when he gets the red zone.
The tissue paper, the paper from their bar. QB draw. We're gonna do a QB draw. Let's run it, boys. Let's run it.
That's how it is. I don't know, dude. Like, you don't want to get your quarterback. I mean, you signed 4 running backs. At least if you use Boston Scott, he's got that sneaky speed. He's got that, he's got the big lower body. He can sneak around. Like, I think with Boston Scott would be great in red zone. But Kenneth Gainwell, I feel like he gets the ball, he dives, and like that's it. That's his running style. I think what brings Kenneth Gainwell far, like, because to not throw shade at him, I think what goes really far with Kenny G is I think his vision's pretty good. I don't think it's the best, but I think his vision really takes him far. Even that touchdown he had against Miami, like, kept his balance, kind of just like did a somersault like he was a ballerina and then got into the end zone. I thought that was great. You know what I mean? But it's not the answer. It's just when you see like DeAndre Swift, like, even throw like you said, like, you dump a pass off to him, like, he just makes 9 out of 10 times he's making the first guy miss and he can make the second guy miss. It's almost automatic. Every single time in open space, he's a mismatch on linebackers. You put him out as a wideout. I mean, I think it's you have a good mixture of backs, but between Rashad Penny not playing, Boston Scott's barely getting a chance now. He had a good kick return, which was good. And every time we face a good punter every single freaking week because they always get the ball inside the 10 every single time. I don't think Braden Mann's been doing a bad job either. I think his punts have been pretty good. So we know we have the upgrade at punter, thank God, because that was one of our really going into the season, we may have been full of ourselves a little bit. We're like, special teams is the worst. Like, we don't got to worry about nothing else. You know what I mean? We were worried about the defense more than the offense. We really weren't worried about BrianJohnson at all. So, And
I will say say something nice about Kenneth Gainwell. Kenny G has shown the ability to get better, because coming out of college, he was not good in pass protection. He was not good. That was like his biggest. It was literally the exact opposite of what we're saying. He was a prolific playmaker. He can, run it out of the backfield, run between the tackles. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, line up as slot. He could do all this stuff when he was at Memphis, but he could not pass protect for anything. Now he comes to the NFL and he'd rather get hit in the NFL apparently than when he was in college, which is just weird. But, he's shown, and I just said I was going to say something nice to him and I go talking junk about him, but he's shown that he can improve in areas. So somebody said give up a 4th and Kenny Gainwell for a guy like Derrick Henry, which the Titans might say, yeah, to be 100% honest with you, it's a cheaper contract. It's a guy that you can wait a year or two and see if he's got any juice in him, which I do think he will get better. I just don't think that we don't have patience right now. The Eagles shouldn't have patience right now. We're lucky that Eli Ricks did good the first couple times we put him out there, that Josh Jobe was forced to be out there, to be 100% honest, so that he could get a little bit better. But outside of that, we don't have patience. We can't wait for guys to get better. No, we're trying to win right now.
I think Josiah Scott actually played pretty good. I thought he actually played a pretty good game. I mean, look, I think Josiah Scott was like a quick fix. We wanted Mario Goodrich over Josiah Scott. That's what we wanted, and we got that. But now, we kind of went back to Josiah Scott now because of the injuries with Bradley Roby. So I think with Josiah Scott, it was a quick fix. At least a quick fix for a game or two or whatever, because I think when it comes down to it, like, Josiah Scott knows the players, he knows the defense, he knows the guys, there's no chemistry, he could, it's not the best choice, but it's something the Eagles had to do. So it is what it is. But, I just think it's going to get better. Guys getting healthy. The main problem with the Eagles has been like that.
Yes.
Every time we think, guys are coming back, the list gets longer at the injuries. The list gets longer and longer and longer. And it's really annoying every single week. And that's what last year we barely had to deal with. Really too many injuries last year. We really didn't have a lot of injuries. This year, it's been kind of crazy. Around the league, it's been nuts with injuries. I mean, even before the season started, a lot of guys were out the whole entire year, which really sucks. You don't want to see guys get hurt and not get their chance. And I want to play every team at their best. There's only, I know the Miami Dolphins didn't have Jalen Ramsey. They didn't have Xavier Howard, but the Jets didn't have 3 starters at corner. I mean, they missed 3 guys. They missed 3 dudes. And we couldn't do a damn thing. Like you know what I mean? It's just, it's crazy, but but it's just it's a timing thing. So I think we're gonna be all right.
As somebody said in the comments, Gainwell is a dollar store Pollard. Pollard sucks in the red zone too. Pollard is like they're the Spider-Man meme. I'm telling you, right? They are the Spider-Man meme, just pointing at each other because they're the exact same thing. They really are. Except Pollard gets the ball way more. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah,
Pollard is their number one.
I mean, and like you have too many of those small backs, even like Deuce Vaughn. Like I just feel like I don't get, like I feel like they just did the coach a favor. Like they just did the guy a favor and drafted his son. Like I feel like that was, it's a great story and it's emotional and it's, all that crap, but it's just it's just like I don't know. Mozzie Smith hasn't done shit either. So,
At all.
I think he still has, I don't know what he has for the year.
I don't think he has anything. He got a donut. That's what he got.
I gotta check this out.
He's got nothing but a bunch of people on Twitter hating on him. That's what he's got. The Cowboys struck all the way out on their draft. Their draft was terrible.
23 season, 2 solo tackles.
Woo! That boy a dog. That boy a dog.
I don't know what the pressures or anything else look like. I mean, I don't know what everything else looks like, but that's all I see right now. It's just crazy.
I'm sure they want Mozzie to be what we wanted Jordan Davis to be when he first came out. But we also knew that Jordan Davis had that uptick. He had that upside that he could be a pass rusher. You know what I'm saying? Mozzie doesn't. So I mean, this is what they got. They got a guy that's gonna eat up blocks, and that you need that. Don't get me wrong, but that's all they got. That's all I got.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah, I mean, we've been over an hour. We've been a long time. We could talk about this shit for forever. So,
till next week.
if you want to go next, hey, I felt bad. I was like, I'm gonna ask this guy like last second to jump on, and like a day Davis is the day before, but
I'm always down, brother. You like family to me, dog. I do it anytime. We got to get you on my shows next.
Yeah, definitely. No, 100%. There's 253 in the chat right now. I appreciate everybody coming in. Make sure get those likes up like crazy right now. If you guys haven't subscribed to Joe Castro of Philly the podcast, definitely subscribe to his channel. His link is in the live chat and the description below. What else are you doing on the channel this week? Anything big?
So I took a couple of days off to like redo everything. So I have like a whole new. I just did a video today, kind of showing a little bit of it off. But we have a number to call in if you guys want to call in. We play the messages during the show. You can call in live during the show. So just a lot of aesthetic changes. And yeah, the same old same. Getting some interviews going. Just having fun, man, talking about the birds, man. Always a pleasure coming on this channel, you know what I'm saying? And always fun talking to my boy Joey. Always a good time seeing the chat go crazy. I love it. No crazy names today yet, but that's all right. maybe the next time. But no, yeah, just the same old same, man. Great content, great fun talking about these birds. Yeah, that's really it. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, I have to give you credit for doing call-ins, dude. I really want to do a call-in badly, but I am just too afraid to do it.
Well, the way I'm doing it, see, it's gonna be audio only. It's literally a phone number that people can call. So you can leave a message, you can text it to me, you can do whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you want to call, I can just hang up. It's a beautiful thing. You can't do nothing as far as video messing me up. Trust me. When I first started my channel, I used to do call-ins like crazy. And then a couple times stuff happened. I was like, nah, I'm good, bro. I can't. These people crazy.
I'm gonna tell you because that's when Philly 500 did it like a year or two ago. I think it was like a couple of years ago, and somebody put a picture of like a private part like on the screen, and he had to end the whole stream. It was so bad. I feel so bad. It sucks because all it takes is one person like ruining it. Like that's why I'm like, I'm not going to do the thing. Well, show your face. And then like, I don't, there's a lot of weirdos out there, man. Like I can't do it. I mean, maybe one day I just have to figure out a different way to do it. Like I do like I don't know. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah. Even if you like
really
pre-screen people, I used to work for this company called The Call. It was like a New York radio station. And I did, I think Saturday 6 to 9 or something like that. It was the most random time, but it was like all about call-ins and stuff, and we had people that would kind of check what the people were gonna talk about, make sure they weren't crazy. And even then, you still get people that are like, "Oh, I made it past the pre-screen now. F you, Joe. F the Eagles. F the Like, damn, bro. Like, damn. People don't care. It is what it is.
It's funny. This Kevin Byard news came out when Yeah, because I literally got home. I got home from a workout, and then like I want to go because Sirianni's press conference was going on. I was going to rewind it and start watching it, whatever. And then all of a sudden, like my phone was going off today. I'm like, as soon as my phone was going off, like boom, 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 boom. I was like, yeah, something. Either someone got injured or something bad happened to somebody in my neighborhood or something, or I don't know. But you know, it was good news, which was great. I was shocked. I mean, I was really shocked. Or I was like, Kevin Byard. I was like, oh, Kevin Byard.
That was huge,
like,
bro. Yeah, where was I? I was out with my girl, and I was like, babe, they did it. They traded for Kevin Byard. And she was like, who the hell is Kevin Byard?
We're on it. Like, Joe, we're on a date. No, Kevin Byard.
Yeah, I was like, babe, get the check. We gotta go. Like, but no, that's what we needed, man. I mean, we can sit here and say it till we're blue in the face, but
put the menu down, record me.
Right. Screw that dog. Let's go. Run. We got to get home.
Joshua Stewart's member for 7 months. Appreciate so much. Is how we going to make another move? Yeah, we talked about it. It could be, I don't know. I mean, look, we talked about, maybe the offensive side of the ball isn't something, we would think about right now. We didn't really think Julio Jones was going to sign. So who knows? Joe talked about red zone earlier and, maybe needing another back or something. I mean, I talked about Derrick Henry a million times at this point. So, I mean, if they triple dip into the Titans,
yeah, that would be insane. If I was the Titans, I would just be like, listen, bro, you did enough. They hate us enough. Like,
they got these fans making videos in their cars like they're about to drive off a bridge. Like I swear it was. I actually felt really because we know that feeling. We know a roster that gets dismantled like that of your favorite players, and it sucks, dude. It sucks, but they got to trade Derrick Henry before he loses value or gets an injury because he's going to be hitting 30 soon. Like this is the right time to trade him somewhere. Whether it's not here or somewhere else, but.
And we've been on both sides. We've been on both sides of it, right? Because after 2017, I mean, we probably should have got rid of a lot of players after that year, but
yes,
we didn't, So Titans fans kind of got to look at that and understand that sometimes the best thing that you can do is give up and just say, hey, this ain't our year, bro. Let's just, they need to figure out if Malik Willis is that guy. I don't think giving up Derrick Henry will help them figure that out, but,
You can't build around a running back, and that's what they've been doing, and it's the dumbest thing that you could do. I mean, they drafted Skoronski. That didn't even help. I think he's been injured a little bit this year. I could be wrong, but you can't have a 29-year-old running back all they care about is giving, we didn't win because we didn't give Derrick Henry 20 plus touches. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's a scary, and it works when your defense is great, but when your defense starts getting old and slowing down and your quarterback is a wide receiver, I mean, like,
you can't dip into free agency. Like you cannot build a team through free agency. Like that's not what it's there for. And a lot of teams have done it. I get it, but there's a difference between building through free agency and giving multiple max contracts, or like with how he did in 17, where he was given these 1 year, like prove it type things where, every free agent in 17 worked out and produced like every single one. So, that's the difference. No one can follow Howie Roseman's. And when people try to follow, on Howie Roseman, what he does, they're always 10 steps behind because look what the Rams did winning that Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Like they gave up so many picks. They gave up their future. They gave up their soul to win a Super Bowl, really. And they're, I mean, I'm not saying they're falling down, but then you have to get your draft capital back. The Eagles were literally drafting bad after the Super Bowl, and they were giving, which really pissed me off. They were just, when you're drafting bad and your draft picks aren't hitting the field, then they're restructuring, kicking the can down the road, bigger cap hits down the road, because I remember a few years ago, like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I forgot, it was like probably 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, they were like 73 million over the cap. I mean, it's just, you can't get into those situations, man, because they were starting to like award players for past success, which really pissed me off. Like that Super Bowl, like I forgot, I can't remember the contracts they gave out. Like obviously Alshon Jeffrey was a good deal at the time, but he just fell apart after that. Like
Carson Wentz. That was
Carson
just,
Wentz. You
yeah.
know, like it was tough. It was tough to sign Carson Wentz after, you know, Nick Foles. We did in 2. I mean, really, we were one pass. I mean, really, I think they could have won a Super Bowl in 18. I mean, seriously. I mean, the Rams were bad. That Rams Patriots Super Bowl was boring. Most boring fucking Super Bowl I ever watched.
Yeah, facts.
And Brady's defense, and really the Patriots defense, like carried that Super Bowl, really, and it wasn't by much. I think the Eagles had a legit shot. They dropped the ball in that Saints game. Through Alshon Jeffrey's hands. It sucked. It was horrible. But past success contracts, it just didn't work out. And trust me, I was I think another issue has been hiring from within, and I'm hoping that, you know, BrianJohnson wasn't a mistake. Hopefully this thing really becomes a huge success, and I hope to God we can keep a coach more than a year. Yeah. I mean, that's the shitty part about it. If we get to the Super Bowl, just say we get to the Super Bowl again, it sucks, dude, because then it's like everyone's prying at your roster, everyone's prying at your coaches. It's just a shitty. It's just horrible. Like when Steichen didn't get the job with the Panthers, I was like, yes, okay, like he's staying. That's what I thought when all that went between, you know, Frank Reich took the Panthers job, whatever. Because I feel like if BrianJohnson does fail this year, if they take a big dip in production or something, which I can't really see, I really can't see it. It's hard for me to see that Jalen Hurts is not in the playoffs. It's crazy. Like I feel like he's always like, I feel like if he's not in the playoffs, then we're in really bad shape. And something needs to change. So I'm hoping, you know, this is, you know, we just keep this thing going, and that's it. The past is the past. I totally get it. You know, so
yeah, I think that's what kind of separates our organization from other organizations, though, because we kind of know when to say when. Like, if our team's not that good, we're just not going to win. We're not going to, not necessarily that we're going to tank, but we're just not going to go all out and try and win every single game. And, you know, oh, we got to go get this guy to try and be 8-8 and hopefully make the playoffs and see what. No, if we know we ain't a Super Bowl team this year, we're going to play it out with who we got and hope we get a good draft pick. And that's it, you know, and that's smart. Sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to just say, hey, this ain't our season. And let's just, you know, get the assets that we get from it and move on. But I think we've learned. I think our organization is learning from all their mistakes. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think coming off of a Super Bowl loss and getting the number one player in the draft is, you know, normally a thing that doesn't happen. And you're not like the Chicago Bears right now, where they're literally holding 2 first-round picks in order right now. They have the Panthers first round. You know what I mean? It's crazy because there are teams that have chances. Like the Bears have another chance to reset, and they could do it. And they're lucky they could do it because it's not looking great. They should trade Justin Fields, get some picks, and, you know, let him go to another team. I think he does have I think Justin Fields has a lot of, you know, I think he's very talented. I really do. I just think he needs to go to another team. He needs a fresh start somewhere else. And, you know, I know we're going off topic here, but, you know, it's just because it's all about building. Like the Eagles turned around 3 years ago. Literally, they turned around 3 years ago and they started drafting well. It's so nice and refreshing to see guys that we draft, like at least 3 to 4 draft picks are on the field. Like it's the best feeling possible. Like it's so great where you don't have to dip into free agency. Free agency is for if you're not going to draft a certain position in the draft, or, you know, you don't want to worry about a certain position for the next few years, you go out and get a guy. You know, that's perfectly fine. You know, when it comes to like next year, the year after that for the Eagles with this wide receiver core, like for me, I feel like they really have to keep AJ Brown and Devontae Smith in the building, because Devontae Smith is up for contract extension next year. So I don't think you can let those two go. I honestly, and then it sounds crazy. Maybe it does to some fans. I don't know. But for me, like I figured Devontae Smith will get the contract, obviously, because he was drafted here. He's the homegrown talent. He was drafted here. I get it. But with the connections that A.J. Brown has with Jalen Hurts, and for A.J. Brown to say, you know what, I made a lot of money already with the Eagles, and you know what, if I could, you know, if I'm not going to, he's not going to get another contract like that. It'll definitely be a lot cheaper. But at the same time, like, I can't go to another team and expect I'm going to get this. I'm going to have it this good ever again. And that's where what do you think of that in general with Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown's future going into next year and on?
Yeah, I think all three of them probably already talked about it. To be honest, they probably already spoke about it together. Like, listen, dog, I'm gonna eat some of my money. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? And realistically, when we talk about pay cuts, it's really just turning some of their money into a signing bonus. So it's not like they're not gonna get the money. It's just not the what's the word I'm looking for? The security that, you know,
Yeah.
having it on your contract has. They're still gonna get that money up front. But at the end of the day, I think that Jalen already kind of has it worked in his contract that he's going to take a pay cut when necessary. And I think AJ Brown would not have a problem at all saying, yeah, let's kick my money down the line. And I don't think Howie has shown that he does not give a damn about, you know, about restructuring contracts.
No.
So yeah, I while I do worry because it is a lot of money, the salary cap's going up. We have a lot of money already, you know, that we can work with going into next year. And I do believe a lot of these players, even maybe on the defense, will say, listen, I don't need to get paid that much. Let's just make sure we get not that much, but I can take off $2, $3, $4 million off my contract to make sure you can keep Devontae Smith, make sure you can keep AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert. You know, I think that's the smartest thing to do. I think right now the next look is what are we going to do at tight end? Because Dallas Goedert, I don't think gets another big contract with the Eagles, if I'm being honest. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, I think that's probably where you save your money. Unfortunately, as much as I love Dallas Goedert, but I think that's a big spot that you can say, let's go get us a rookie. And especially looking at how these tight ends are built nowadays, you can get yourself a really good tight end in any draft because they're just so athletic. They're so damn athletic nowadays. So, you know, I love Dallas Goedert, and I hope he stays an Eagle for the rest of his career. But at the same time, he's probably the most likely to be able to, you know, for the Eagles to say, all right, if we have to choose, yeah, exactly.
I mean, even trading for Albert O is very good. I think there's a lot of good things to take from him too. I mean, he might be our fastest guy. He might be the most explosive guy. I mean, who knows? I mean, the Eagles are not keeping 4 tight ends on the roster next year. They did this year and Albert O's a healthy scratch. You know, that's just what it is. He wasn't going to play. You know, but I think Jack Stahl is more valued because of his blocking. He's very good with that. He's a bigger body. He's got reliable hands at times. So, you know, I just, you know, I think there's a lot of good things to take from it going down the road, and you know, will be interesting. It's gonna be interesting after this year. But I'm excited for the rest of this year and to see how everything pans out, and you know. I want them to get better, and I want them to get to the main game, the last game of the season. Which
we all want that Super Bowl. That's all we want. That's what I don't think a lot of people are understanding about Philly fans in general. Like people are, oh, y'all complaining, y'all out there winning. Like what is there to complain about? We don't want to just win in the regular season. Like that's cool. We've historically been a pretty damn good, regular season team. We make the playoffs. We, have good games, whatever. We don't want that no more. We want to win a Super Bowl. We got a taste of it. You know what I'm saying? We finally went to a steak restaurant. We went to a nice steakhouse. We don't want McDonald's no more. We want that steak. We want juicy steak, and that's it. That's it. So we're going to complain whenever you bring out a steak and it looks like McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like if you win and it looks ugly, we're going to sit here and be like, listen, that's not a Super Bowl winning type of game. We got to be realistic about it. So at the same time, we know that this team is good. We know that 6-1 is a good place to be, but we want to see more. We want to see them be the team we know they can be. We know they're doing all this right now. And just imagine when they put it all together, I feel they can really, really dominate teams.
Yeah, Dank says it's all about how they do in the playoffs, but the regular season is what we have to deal with. Yeah, I mean, look, like it's you hit the reset button. I mean, that's it. Because the problem with a lot of teams that get into the playoffs, they change their playbook a lot. That's why I respected Doug a lot too, because like you have to use what you use in the regular season, how successful you were in the regular season to use in the playoffs, because there's so many teams that change, that they play more conservative or they just play different because it's one game and you're gone if you lose. So and I don't think the team will stray away from that. This if the NFC goes through Philadelphia, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. There's
nobody's beating us at home.
No, nah, it's not happening. There's no takeover. You could try, but it's not going to happen.
You want to hear a crazy stat that I saw today that I was kind
Mm.
of surprised to see? So I did a video today about like 3 things I needed them to fix. Red zone offense efficiency was one of them. We are 50% overall this year, 50% in red zone, 66.7% at home, and just under 34% on away games.
Yikes! So we're
Big
playing. We're
difference.
worse in the red zone on the road, and we're winning more road games.
Weird, right? Weird as
Yeah.
hell. I mean, all context involved. We only lost 1 game, so
I know. I
it is what
get
it
it.
is. But it is crazy. That is kind of wild to me. So that home field advantage, we saw it with the Phillies, who unfortunately my girl just walked in, so it made me reminded me that they unfortunately didn't win, babe. But she gonna throw a shoe at me. If you guys see if you guys see a chancla just come in the frame, that's my girl. But no, yeah, that home field advantage ain't no joke, man. The Eagles play different at home. I mean, they just do. So
No, I know. It's a different
man,
atmosphere. What do you think? What? And last thing, it's been a while. So
you good?
what do you think of the Kelly Greens?
Oh my god.
Oh God,
Them things are beautiful. Them things are beautiful. You shout out to who made this, babe? Her friend Chassery made this, and it's like Eagles green and stuff like that. Oh, is my thing? Did my thing just froze? They don't like us going long, I guess. What the heck is going on? Yeah, as soon as I start talking junk about the Phillies, it freezes. Look at that. But yeah, no, you can still see it because it's frozen now. But yeah, it's fire. Like it got the Kelly green and all that. So yeah, I love them. I think that they were amazing. Exactly what we need. That should be our every game attire, every single game.
Yeah, it was so refreshing. Like they changed. I mean, I didn't expect them. I didn't know they were going to change every. Like I knew they the field looked great. I mean, they changed all the banners, like the inside wall banners. Like everything looks so good, man. Like I don't know, man. I think there's going to be a change. I'm hoping there's a change sooner or later because I feel like we have to modernize some stuff. And yeah, it was great to see. It was awesome.
Every game, I want to see those things every game.
Midnight green, like I love it, and then I don't mind. Like, trust me, like it's just like to a point where it's like it's an old jersey now. It's it's from the '90s, man. I mean, from the late '90s. I mean, really from the late '90s. I mean, that's what you're kind of talking about now. And I wasn't really a big fan of the black helmets at all. I mean, they were all right, but it doesn't hit like the Kelly Green does.
Nah, they just played so amazing, and they looked like the old Eagles teams with how aggressive they were and just the physicality. It brought back a lot of good memories. So, yeah, Jeffrey, if you're hearing this, I know I'm frozen, but I want you to freeze those Kelly Greens into our weekly attire. That's what I do.
True. So yeah, I mean that's it. I won't hold you any longer. I know we keep going on and on. So definitely 205 the chat. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the stream if you guys have it. Like up the stream. Make sure you subscribe to Joe Castro, Philly the podcast. His link is in the description and the live chat. Yeah, we'll come on next week if Joe's up for it. We'll we'll come on next week. We'll talk Friday. I'll be streaming Friday. We'll be talking about more Washington. Our second 1 o'clock game of the season, which is great. I think all NFC East teams are playing at 1.
Yeah, I think that's our last one too. I think that's our last 1 o'clock.
One
game,
more.
if I'm not mistaken. Do we have one more?
Yeah, 3.
Oh, yeah,
we have 3 1 o'clock games.
The Cardinals trash.
Oh God.
Yeah, they had to ruin it for us.
Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe to Joe. Link in the description, the live chat, and we will see you guys later, and you guys have a fantastic day. See you guys later. Shakes off the outside. Peace out, guys. Peace out.